Well, hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Today's video, we're focusing on the beginner golfer. Yes, there's plenty of you out there that are maybe just coming into the game of golf and are not sure whether it's a game that you want to continue with, but also it's a game that maybe how much time have you got to be able to play with it. So with that in mind, you may have a budget, and we're going to put the budget today at a maximum price of £200 for a set of irons. Let's take a closer look online to see what we can get on the used market that can hopefully get you on the road when it comes to the game of golf. Now, there's plenty of websites out there that can help you when it comes to finding the set of golf clubs that are going to work for you. Well, in today's video, we're going to take a little look online. Great thing about these websites is you can really dive into them. So you can dive into kind of a minimum price and a maximum price. So I'm going to put in minimum price of £50 and we're going to do a maximum price up to £200. We're going to apply that. We can also, with this particular site, is we can dive into seeing if it's left-handed or right-handed. We're not going to kind of look too much at that today, but what we are going to do is we're going to select a beginner golfer. So you can select a beginner golfer, and that's going to really pull out all the clubs that are going to work nicely for a beginner golfer. Even though I'm somebody as a PGA Pro, I focus on maybe if you're a beginner golfer, what do you need help with? Is it more that you need help with your short game? Is it your long game? What is it that kind of that's going to help you with your game getting into the game? So we're also going to look at key brands. So we're not going to just sort of sieve through the whole lot because it's a bit of a minefield, if I'm honest with you. So we're going to kind of look at key brands, and again we can select. So let's take the first one at the top of the list, which is going to be Callaway, to get us going with. Callaway, well known for being one of the best brands out on the market. And if you look at any tour tournaments, then you're going to find players out there with Callaway logos on the side of their bag. That means that they're sponsored by them. Right, should we go from low to high and see what is actually available on this particular site? First one out, and when you see a price of $78.99 that we're seeing down here, just be mindful that they're either going to be in really poor condition, or they're not going to be a full set of irons. And a full set of irons for those beginner golfers is running from, let's say, sand wedge or pitching wedge, right the way up to maybe 5 iron as your maximum when it comes to being able to hit the clubs that you're going to put into your golf bag. So there's going to be clubs out there that you might not need in your set, 3 irons, 4 irons, things like that, just to get you going with. So maximum kind of like 5 iron, and then there's other clubs that can help you with that as well. So straight away, couple of sets that really jump out to me, and think about the budget of £200 maximum. The ones that, the 2002, and obviously there's 2002, this is a good thing about this site as well. We've got 2002, we've got 2007, we've got a set there in 1998. I actually did a video on the Callaway Big Bertha X12 irons coming in at £156.99. Let's dive in a little bit deeper on these particular irons, shall we? So the great thing about Callaway, and they've been known for this for years and years and years, is that they have made irons that are really game improvement irons. And if we look at the X12s, these are irons that tour players would have won on tour with back in the day. Colin Montgomery is a name that would jump out. And as we kind of work our way down, we've got left-handed and right-handed available. Maximum, it's just nipped over our maximum budget of £200.99. However, I will take a closer look at these irons. They go from 3 iron right the way to pitching wedge. And as I said, you might not want to put in the 3 iron or the 4 iron in your set to carry around the golf course. But let's take a closer look at what we've got here. Condition-wise, we've got 6, probably out of 10, I would say. So condition at the top of the club, that's how they look when you look down on them. The face and then the sole of them, all around 6. They've got a graphite shaft in these particular irons. Again, if you're buying new, graphite shafts are always going to be a little bit more expensive. Graphite costs maybe just a little bit more to be able to produce those clubs. They're standard length, which is great, and just be aware of that when you're looking, that some of these clubs are going to be either a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, depending on who they've been custom fit for in the past. But just taking a closer look, one thing I would say with the X12 irons and even X14 and X16, which is then like the next generations of these particular clubs, is I've never really seen a set that are really badly battered up, should we say, other than maybe getting chunks taken out of them. But this particular set, regular flex in the shaft, so graphite shafts being a little bit lighter in their production, let's say over steel shafts. Now these are, if we look at the grips on them, these grips are the original grips that would have come with these particular clubs. So with that in mind, you may find that you'll need to get yourself a new set of grips for these particular ones. And each grip, if we look here, each grip could start at around £5 per grip to be fitted. So just be mindful of that when you are buying used, as you may have to upgrade your grips. A bit of hot soapy water, give them a good scrub. That will probably keep you on the straight and narrow with them. The great thing about these ones, they don't look too shiny. When you see grips that look shiny in the light that the guys are taking photographs with, you're going to find that the shinier, the less grip or tack you're going to get from these particular clubs. So this would be a fantastic buy for anybody out there looking for a set of irons to get them going with. Let's just work our way back now and take a closer look and see what else is out there. I want to focus maybe on a set of, they all look a little bit graphite shafted, some of these. Let's take a closer look at the top end now, which is, let's go a year, shall we? There we go, 2010. Gets us £177.90. Now, the initial pictures that we're seeing here, these are brand new, so just work your way down. Now, what does £177, £178 get us? Let's take a closer look at these particular irons. Now, these are 2010, they're called Callaway Diablos. What you found is from right the way from the 1998 set through to now 2010, I'll be honest with you, there's not a massive amount of difference. You could go out and play, you might find that these are stronger in their loft, so they may just go a little bit further. Let's take a closer look at these. Now we've moved in, we've got a set of steel shafts, which is great. 5-iron through to pitch and wedge, which is absolutely fine for what you're looking to put into your golf bag. You would need to find yourself a sand wedge to help you get out of the bunkers. But if I'm honest with you, these are looking pretty good condition. Again, those are the original grips, but don't look too shiny. So we're looking positively on that. I would say that's a pretty good set of irons there. Let's go back and have a quick look and see what the lie. So standard lie, it's a regular flex, it's a steel flex, and it's in pretty good condition. Overall, it's in a fair condition, but at the end of the day, from a set of irons that are now 15, 16 years old, I would say you've got yourself a decent set of irons there. So for £178, you can really get yourself into a really good position. So now moving into TaylorMade, another top brand within the game of golf. This is interesting, isn't it? Look, £143 can get you a set of 2015 PSI irons. Let's have a quick look at that. I'm surprised that these are a beginner set, because I do remember these being a little bit, let's have a little look at that there. So 7-iron, yeah, this is where you got to be careful, because there's actually, for £143, we've only got 7-iron through to pitch and wedge, so you've only got 4 irons that you're picking out here, so that's not really going to do, it's not going to fill your golf bag up. Let's come away from that, because I think, you know, only 4 irons is not where we kind of want to be. We want to be in a much better position than that and getting ourselves a full bag. Wow, this is an interesting one. They've got a set of rack TPs in here, and they're saying that they are for beginner golfers. There is absolutely no way. This is 4 to pitch and wedge, £160.99. This is what you've got to be careful of, because this is ultimately going to be for the advanced golfer, because they're basically a bladed set of irons, which is basically what it means is that if you have a set of irons that doesn't have a great deal of perimeter weighting, you're going to find yourself in a position where if you do miss-hit these clubs, as in you don't hit them bang out the middle of the club, they are going to not perform for you. So you're going to lose a lot of ball speed, the ball will drop off short of this. But if I'm honest with you, these irons for £161 or £160.99, this is a very good set of irons for, I would say, for an advanced golfer. 7 out of 10 condition-wise, regular flex, steel shafted. This is a pretty good set of irons, but definitely not for the beginner golfer. So just be very, very careful when you're going into irons that you find something that's absolutely going to work for you, and going into a set that are going to be more of a beginner set, as in a little bit chunkier, that's going to definitely help with your game. So with that in mind, just picking out my favorite of this setup here, which I actually think is going to work really, really well. Let's go with the TaylorMade Burner. So this was a 2010 model, very similar to what we've just looked at when it came to the Callaway irons that we've just looked at. Now the TaylorMade Burner iron here at 199, 7 iron, so 6 iron through. Let's see if we can actually get you into a set that, yeah, I think we're going to be looking at 6 iron through to pitch and wedge, or we've got 7 iron through to sand wedge. I feel like let's go 6 iron to pitch and wedge and take a closer look at what these clubs have to offer. So again, be mindful, because I've just seen it here. So this is not a standard set of irons. So these have been custom fit for the player. They're in good condition, 7 out of 10. The regular flex are in steel shafts, but they are ½ an inch longer than your standard. So this would have been for somebody who either had short arms or someone that was a little bit taller. Probably somebody who was taller, but I would say looking through those original grips, just looking through these irons, these are going to work really well and they're in pretty good condition. So whoever had them before for the last 15 years has kept them in really good shape. So TaylorMade Burner 2.0 irons from 2010, they're a pretty good set to certainly look at when it comes to TaylorMade. We now move into Ping irons. Now Ping, again, one of the top brands. I'm going to focus on 4 of the top 4 brands this particular video. And Ping, again, throughout the years, Ping have been renowned for making some of the best irons out there on the market. And certainly when it comes to the average golfer, the club golfer, Ping have really kind of, I would say, led the way, because it's within their kind of ideas that they want to help the golfer. Working through, I mean, there's some great, I mean, I used to sell a lot of these products that are in here now. The 2007, the G10, a great set of irons. But as I kind of look at these irons, as I work my way through from G10 to G15, to then we've got G2s, we've got K15 irons. Those are designed for those players that maybe want a little bit less of a slice, so a bit more draw enhanced. I'll be honest with you, looking through, going up to what I've got, I mean, you've got the I20s there and the I10s, and they're saying they're beginner golfers. I would argue with that, but when you go into then the Rapture set in 2006, things haven't really moved on a great deal. I mean, going back to the Ping i2 Plus irons. Now the Plus part, this was really important because they had an issue back in the day where they were moving grooves around, and grooves, what companies were doing is they were sharpening up their grooves or making what we call square grooves in order to create a little bit more spin. So coming out of the rough conditions, you're going to lose spin from the grass between club face and ball. Well, having grooves that were square grooves, it allowed the ball to be able to spin a little bit more. And the R&A, USGA, who are the governing bodies that run the rules of golf, they said, absolutely not, you cannot have those. So companies had to go in and start changing their grooves around, which cost them an awful lot of money. But the old i2s, which are a bit of a collectible, to be honest with you now, coming in at £130 for a full set from 3 iron through to sand wedge, I mean, that is pretty good. What I would say to that though is you are probably going to, well, I think you can find some better irons out there that are going to do a better job than that. So with that in mind, let's just go with the G10s, because I think the G10 was as good as anything that we've even got on the market nowadays. So G10, 3 iron through to 9 iron. It's a little bit disappointing, is it, that you're trying to get into find a set of irons and you're within your budget, but they're not going to give you the full set at 3 iron through to 9 iron, which means you're going to need a pitching wedge, and you're going to still need a sand wedge with that. So let's come out of that, because I think it's only right that we try and focus on the full set of irons. And let's go back to the 2010, and these are going to be the K15 irons. 5 iron through to pitching wedge, and we got a sand wedge there, but it's outside our budget at £238, which is disappointing. However, we can go over to a 6 iron through to pitching wedge at £198. Let's take a closer look at that. Now, be careful when you're buying, we talked about custom fitting and things like that. Be careful when you're buying ping irons, because what you got to look at in this area here, which you can see with my cursor, you're going to see a little dot. Now those are your lie angle dots for the club. So a lot of ping is all about custom fitting. So it's a yellow dot, which is going to mean that it's probably going to be a little bit upright, I think, from the yellow. There'll be a little chart up here now that will show you what yellow dot actually would be. Yeah, lie angle 1.5 degrees upright. 6 iron through to pitching wedge. I would say that they are in pretty good condition. Now the problem we've got with these is we've got senior shafts, so that's going to be a slight issue as well, because that's probably not going to fit lots of golfers. Senior shafts are designed for players that swing the club a little bit slower and need a little bit of help when it comes to speed. So if you're in that category, then that will probably work quite nicely for you. So last chance, because what we're struggling with here is that the price of these irons, let's go into the Raptures. That looks like a black dot, which is black dot means that it's a, this could be the one. Let's go into these here. So we've got 5 iron through to pitching wedge, and it comes with a sand wedge. Now this is white dot, which means that they're 3 degrees upright, which is a problem, a big problem. You want to get as standard as you can. They're senior flex, they're graphite shafted. These are very niche, these particular irons, which is a bit of a problem for, let's say, the average golfer, because from an average golfer point of view, I'd probably look at trying to find a steel shaft in regular flex, all in standard. I think, to be honest with you, based on what I'm seeing here now, I think we are struggling to find a set of pings that are going to fall nicely into our category. And for £200, these do look a little bit beaten up, if I'm brutally honest with you. Original, maybe not original grips on there, but certainly ping grips, which has been good to keep those. But 3 degrees upright, graphite shaft, soft senior flex shafts, and a little bit battered up. Let's look at something else, shall we? So I've just dived into Titleist to have a quick look, because again, these are brands that you guys may have heard of which you probably want to search for and have a little look for. But the problem is with Titleist have really been focused on better players clubs for many, many years. And you know, and from a price point of view, they're quite an expensive lineup, should we say, and they do hold their value right the way through. And even just now, with me searching for the beginner golfer within this price point that we're looking at today, we're not finding it, because actually they're only starting at intermediate. They're not allowing us a budget price of £200. They're not allowing us any clubs in there within our budget that for beginner golfers. The closest I can get is an 8 set of AP 2014 set of AP2s, which look lovely. Let's have a closer look at what actually is on offer when it comes to this. So 6 iron through to pitching wedge. They've got a Project X shaft in them. They look, as you would expect from a set of irons that are well over, well, what's that, 2000? So we're well over 10 years old now. Let's take a closer look at the actual iron heads. Pretty good. You're probably going to get some wear and tear. Project X 6.5s. These are extremely stiff shafts, decent grips, but extremely stiff shafts. So for me, I think it's stay clear from a beginner point of view of the Titleist irons. So with that in mind, I'm going to take a closer look at another brand that a lot of people will have heard of, that I think can probably fall within the budget that we're kind of looking for, maximum £200. I'm going to focus on Wilson, because Wilson have over the years made a lot of golf clubs out there that have been designed for the beginner golfer in mind. And as I kind of work my way through, this is probably the page that's given me the most offering. And you can see again, we've got 2010 models, we've got a 2014 model. Let's take a closer look at the 2014 model at the bottom here. £176.99, 4 iron through to pitching wedge, so that's definitely a win. We've got steel shafts. They're standard in their lie angles. They're in 6 out of 10 condition wise, and they're in regular. So we're all in all, the Wilson CL100s, we're looking pretty good at this moment in time. I'm actually feeling that this could be from today's little adventure. Yeah, this is falling into the category of the winner for me, I think, today. See the grips there? Those are quite a cheap grip. So that's been re-gripped with quite a cheap grip. That's not the original Wilson, but again, you can see there a little bit of wear and tear in the kind of where the ink has gone into the logos there. That person who's gripped it has gripped down the club a little bit, and we've seen a little bit of wear and tear, but they're usable by the look of that. And the head looks pretty tidy as well, and no real massive wear and tear. Now we've got to remember, these are a black head which have chipped over time and look a little bit worn, but all in all, that's not going to do a great deal when it comes to your actual golf shots. It's not going to affect anything. So for me, I think these Wilsons are probably a good place to start when it comes, well, I think that's the winner today. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little video of kind of having a quick look online to see what is actually available out there. Just be mindful that it is a little bit of a minefield, and this is why I always sort of stick to platforms that have offerings of, like, when it comes to part exchanging clubs, they offer warranties, things like that. You might pay a little bit more for that, but ultimately you want something that you're going to be able to be backed up with when it comes to actually the performance of these clubs. If they turn up and the heads are falling off, or they're not in the condition that you expected them to be in, then you can certainly send them back and get a refund and start again when it comes to your look. And they also come with, you know, you can try these clubs as well. They'll send them to you, try them out, and then you can go out and decide whether they're for you as well. So really important, but certainly from a beginner point of view, unless you've gone through a custom fitting of some sort, just start with all the standard specs. Standard set of steel shafts, go for regular shafts would be absolutely fine. Just make sure that you get your clubs set up from kind of 5-iron through to pitching wedge or sand wedge, because you're going to need a sand wedge to get out of those bunkers. But I hope you've enjoyed that video. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again when we're looking for another set of golf clubs.